Hey everyone, welcome back to MHR Off-Road. I'm Thomas. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, as today Nick is going to be in the hot seat. We're going to do a full walk around of his Cherokee. He can tell us all the ins and outs of it and anything and everything that has been done to it. So with that being said, let's dive right into the details.
That's right. Normally I'm the one asking questions, but today we're going to be talking about why my Cherokee is my go-to overlanding rig for me. Commercial of Cherokee.
Jeep Cherokee can climb a 30% grade, laugh at an 80% chance of snow, give you 100% freedom, and do it all for 10% less than the competition. Now lease a new 99 Cherokee Sport for $259 a month and get all this at no extra charge. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
Let's start with the history. What's the story behind it and how did you end up with it?
Well, thank you for asking. So obviously I started with my Mitsubishi Mighty Max, which we did the video on that previously.
Yes, we did.
When I started having a family and reproducing, I needed more room for more people, and I bought a 93 Jeep Cherokee. I had that vehicle for roughly 5 years. Bought it, did a lot of stuff to it. Everything I wanted to do to it, I waited because I knew one day I wanted to buy the later gen Cherokees that have the newer interior and front end. I knew I wanted to do all my upgrades of that Cherokee. So I kind of held off, just kind of made that one drive. Loved it. I was driving to work one day and I saw this Cherokee sitting in a lady's front yard. It was a two-wheel drive, completely stock Cherokee. I went up, talked to her for a while. The engine was blown in it. I offered her scrap money, so $200. I bought this Cherokee, towed it home, and sat for probably 3 years. And then when I was finally ready to pull the trigger, I gutted it. Everything, axles, engine, transmission, whole interior, went through it, kind of fixed it up and brought it back to life. And now this is what I drive.
Oh, wow. That was an awesome story. Let's keep going. All right, let's pop the hood and see if are there any upgrades or plans for the future.
All right, so under here, I haven't really done much. It's still just the stock 4.0. Like I said, the original engine that was in here was blown, so I took that other one, kind of dressed it up, put it in here, got me about a year, spun a bearing in the bottom end, said, screw it, you've had so much successful with your reman engine and transmission, so I was like, I'm going to do what Thomas did, buy once, cry once. Bought a reman engine, put in here. I have a video to that as well on our page, and this engine's been fine so far. It's great oil pressure. You know, my other one didn't have great oil pressure.
Oh yeah, I could tell when it didn't have oil pressure. It knocked a lot when it didn't have oil pressure. It woke everyone up at camp when it didn't have oil pressure.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I said, it's the only real changes under here is I've went with the Crowell intake from Thor, which eliminates the factory airbox, gives me more room over there. I ran this. It's kind of like a snorkel. It's not really, but since it's higher than the stock one, it feels like a snorkel. Makes me feel better. In its place, I put the dual battery, and I have it wired here to an isolator switch that turns on when the key's on, so that way when I'm at camp, it turns off the batteries, so that way all my fridge and lights and everything runs off of that battery, so then it doesn't affect my starter battery. And then obviously when I'm driving, the alternator will charge both. And I have the rough country switch panel kit. It's really convenient. Like when I want to add something, I just need to wire it to there, and it already has a harness into the cab that has all the switches pre-ran and everything. And then I have my knockoff.
Looks familiar.
I have my knockoff ARB air compressor, which we also did a video to that on our page.
Go check it out.
You guys want to watch it? There's one on the install, and there's one on the comparison against the real ARB.
Let's go see who won.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, other than that, it's all just stock and cramped under here.
Nice. Well, must be nice not to have to re-engineer the wheel to get your vehicle going. So I'm definitely jealous. Well, awesome. With that being said, let's go up under and maybe check out what kind of axles you got going on, what kind of suspension changes you've made, and any other modifications below the vehicle. Sound good?
Sounds great.
See you there.
So under this thing, again, haven't made too many changes, just the obvious. I've done a 4 link long arm kit on this. My old Cherokee, I had just the short arm kit, and I wanted the long arm. Thought it'd be a little nicer. I've done the steering box brace that basically braces the two sides of the unibody, kind of helps take the strain off of the one frame of the steer box. That is a common problem where they rip. With that, I had to add sway bar drops, so that way I can still use the factory sway bar. I've also done 1 ton steering knuckle upgrade on this. Still the stock axle. I've put a lunchbox locker in the front. That's still in there. Still works when I need it to. I've also added a front diff guard. I don't know why, because we haven't rock crawled in a while, but I think they look cool.
Thank goodness.
That's it with the front. The rear is pretty much just stock. I used to have a box locker in there. Really made me mad. Got rid of it. Also a video to that. The removal. Other than that, it's just stock. Leafs in the back. I have a shackle relocation kit. It kind of gives me an extra inch in the back, so that way it offsets when I'm weighted down. Wheels. I have these set of Krager rims that Thomas and I drove to one of the smallest towns in Georgia to get.
Yeah, I think we looked it up, and the population was 28, including the mayor and his kids. So, yeah.
It had 31s on it. Since then, I've obviously replaced the tires. They were on my old Cherokee and now this one.
So, real quick though, what exact size are the tires in case anyone else has a Cherokee with this kind of lift and size?
So I'm running 31s. I have wheel spacers on there because I like them when they stick out a little bit. So that's pretty good. I mean, at full lock it does rub, and it'll self clear. So I just keep running it.
So 31 by 10.5 by 15.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. And that fit easily with a 4-inch lift.
Cool. And especially if I didn't have the spacers on, I wouldn't have an issue. But since I have the spacers on, I'll bottom out and rub pretty easy. With no spacers, like my old Cherokee, I had no issues. It was always great.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, with that being said, you've got some pretty mean looking protection on the front and back. You want to tell us about the bumpers that you got going on, where you got them, if you like them, what's wrong with them, what's good about them, anything like that?
Sure. So the front bumper here, I really like the way JCR, it's a company that makes a lot of off-road parts, but how they have their Cherokee built, and this bumper is an eBay knockoff of that bumper. It looks pretty similar. The only difference is it doesn't have the fog light cutoffs, but it has the high lift jack mounting points. It has the tow hooks, the winch plate, all that stuff, just like the JCR one does. Okay. So I've probably had this bumper on the old Cherokee and this Cherokee now probably in a total of 9 years now.
Okay.
It's held up pretty good. I mean, there's obviously some rashes on it from me not taking care of it, but other than that, it's been a pretty good bumper in front. Okay. I like the way it looks.
Well, I think one question everyone out there probably has is, what is under here? Whoa! What is this? Tell us what you got going on here.
So I have the same winch that you do. It is the Smittybilt XRC 9,500 pound winch. Same thing. We bought them. I mean, they've been on here just as long as the bumper has, and we don't use them nearly as much as we should, but
not anymore. Yeah.
I've never had an issue with it. It's always worked great. It spools out easier than yours always has, so I got that going for me. So either my clutch packs are screwed or yours clutch packs are screwed.
One of them's bad. Just all that matters.
Yeah, but just nice winch. I really like the way the Factory 55 Fairleads look, so I bought a synthetic rope Fairlead because I don't like the big rollers. I kind of like the clean look, and then I like this Factory 55 how it sits flat. So obviously it scratches it to Kingdom Come, but it's working so far.
Nice. Okay. Light bar. What kind of light bar you got going on? And I see you have two, if you want to kind of combine them into two.
So they're both an Amazon special. They're the Nightlight.
Yeah.
Light bars. That one's a curved 4852. I don't recall the size. That's wired into the cab. This one is, I think, a 24, just amber, because I really like the like when you're driving at night, I like the amber more than just a bright flashlight.
Yeah.
So like, especially if there's any dust or it's raining or anything. So this is just wired up in place of my fog lights. So it's just wired to the fog light switch. I don't know, when we go off road, and when I'm leading, I normally just use this. I'll turn my headlights off and just drive with the yellow. So it's pretty bright. I mean, they've been good to me so far.
Okay. Sweet. That was some good info on the front bumper and the winch and everything. Let's go around to the back, and you can tell me what you got going on back there.
Sweet. So back here, I just have the Smitty built, I think it's XRC rear bumper. Same thing, bought it at the same time I bought the front one. The only issue I've ever had is with this latch.
4 tries.
But mounted an ammo can here, kind of keeps the winch stuff, snatch block, some gloves, some straps. It's got a gas can mount. Gas cans in my garage as I used it for dirt bikes. In the pictures, it shows a high lift jack right here, but I can never figure out how to get one in there. So there's nothing right there. It's nice. It has a trailer hitch, and then I have the tow hooks. I like how it kind of fits with the tailgate. It looked different on the old one because my old tailgate was, squared off. Yeah. So like you could always tell like there's like a weird gap right here. Yeah. So it fits this body style a little better.
Nice contour to it.
And it also came with skid plates you're supposed to put here and rivet them in. You'd have to drill off. This is for the rear factory bumper. You'd have to drill that off and then put the armor in its place. But I don't. That's like a permanent thing, and I don't want them rusting out. So I just left these here in case I ever go back to a factory bumper for whatever reason. And then also back here I have another set of light bars that just for the rear, kind of match the front.
What's in that one?
That had water in there, but see this little hole? Oh. I drilled the hole, so now the water drains out.
Oh, okay.
Now it's great.
That was a nice upgrade you made there. Wow.
Yep, that's my rear bumper.
Thanks for telling us about the back. I noticed this thing's got some pretty nice upgrades on the inside. You want to show us what's going on?
Yeah. So I haven't done much with the interior, nothing too crazy. It's all pretty much the stock. I did upgrade to the double din radio so I can have CarPlay because I love my CarPlay. I just have a window mount for the iPad that I use for Gaia and Onyx when we're traveling. I have the rough country switch panel I talked about up front. That's what has the light bars, front and rear, the air compressor all hooked to. I do have a camera on the front bumper that points at the ground, so if we ever get back into rock crawling. So one of those switch powers that camera. I have JCR's Molly panels on either side. One holds my gun and the other side holds our radios that we use when we go on our trips. And I have one of the dash cam mirrors set up, so it has a camera on the front that records, and then it has a camera in the rear that so that way I can see when I'm packed full. I also thought it would be beneficial when we were getting into filming. If something happens, I'd always have a clip to record because it's always recording. I can just lock it. Yeah, good idea. And I bought these rough country seat covers. Seat covers been really nice. They're polyester. I think they're waterproof, so they're pretty nice. Just the generic ones, and then a WeatherTech floor mats.
Well, if you don't have anything else on the interior, let's move back to the back because setup that you've got looks pretty dialed in. So I think people are going to want to check it out.
Thanks.
I know I do.
So in the back, I have this nice drawer system my father built me. This is for a table that I did not put away. 2 drawers, a big one and a small one. The typical Iron Man fridge slide. The same Iceco fridge that you're running.
I like the wood modification. It's pretty cool.
So I do that to keep it vented when we're not using it.
Okay.
Obviously it's a mess back here right now. I guess I could have cleaned up a little better. I have this double slide that I use when we go camping. I put the stove here, and then I have like a countertop for when we're out cooking. And then if I do, I can still get to the fridge and not have to move the stove.
It's really nice.
I have the switch panel here. One is I got the light here, so like when we're out cooking, I can see. I have lights on either side of the roof rack. Then I have a cigarette lighter over here that I use to charge the Jackery when we're driving. And then I have another one that powers the cigarette lighter up there, and that used to be for when I had the shower on that side. I could run our old shower system right into the door and plug in up front and not have to run a cable all the way back here.
Yeah.
I have this JCR window molly panel on the side. That was in my old Cherokee. I moved it over. I mainly hang the shovel, the tire pressure, the valve stem remover, that kind of stuff on that.
You got your medical kit on there right now, right?
Just add my med kit.
Okay.
I have a keep the line dampener for the winches right here. I have this Kicker XJ pod that sits in this pocket over here because I love to have a sub.
But that's factory, right?
No, I bought this. I bought this and put it in. It's normally a pocket here, but they sell this plastic pod that fits in that pocket, so I don't have to cut her.
And it's made just for it, right?
Wow. And it doesn't take up any more space. You see it's flush.
What is it like having aftermarket support? Because I wouldn't know.
Well, that's a real bonus of going to a Jeep Cherokee. The Mighty Max, I had not a single ounce of support, and the Cherokee, I have amples of support.
And overabundance.
They sold millions and millions of them, so it's I have anything I want almost.
Wow.
This is where I have the camera for the mirror up front.
Okay.
This isn't pretty right now, but this is the wiring loom that I made that goes in my roof rack that powers the front, the light bar up front, the two pods in the back, and the lights on the side. All goes through this wiring loom that comes in here, comes under the headliner, splits off. Some goes here, some goes there. When I had the headliner down, I rewired it. And then I have this Off-Road Mania window molly panel on the outside that I use to mount the diesel rotopack. So that way, in the winter, I can carry some diesel, so I don't have to bum yours.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, appreciate you letting us know about that. I'm sure if anyone else in the comments has Cherokees or questions about this setup, because to be honest, I'm very jealous of this setup, and I think it works perfectly, especially these slide outs here. With that being said, you want to shut the hatch, and we'll move up top to see what you have going on camping-wise, roof rack-wise, and awning-wise, because I'm sure you'll have some Cherokee owners that might be wondering what you're running.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so up top, it's very similar to yours, in a lot of ways, almost like a copycat, almost. So up top here, I have the roof rack, Smittybilt roof rack. I think it was Defender 4555.
Yes.
It's the same. It was the same as yours. It had the pre-runner bar up front, just like yours. I actually had to cut that off when I upgraded to a bigger tent. I used to have the same tent as yours, the 3-person tent. When I reproduced to a family of 4, I had to get the larger Smittybilt XL tent. I used that tent for a while, and then when my buddy with the Raptor quit camping, I essentially bought his tent because it's the 2nd generation, and it's got some cool little features that the old one didn't. So upgraded that tent. So if you don't look at the cuts, I have these mounts for the light bar up front here. I have lights on the side here on both sides, so in the summer mostly, and we have the awning out. I have these lights here, and then when the tent's up, if I don't have the cover up or hanging down, the lights on the other side will light that side, and then I have the pod lights. I have the Smittybilt 8-foot awning. It's the same as yours. We won't open it up because it's just an awning, but it's actually 8 feet long instead of 6 feet long. Nothing too fancy. I have the shower, just the Ironman 4x4 shower room like you, but when I upgraded to the bigger tent, I don't have a spot to put it. I had it similar to yours, but like I said, now that with this bigger tent, I got to design something to mount it up there. I just haven't got to it yet.
With that being said, why don't you open the tent and show us what's different or better about the 2nd generation Smittybilt versus the old ones.
Perfect. So one of the things I like is there's a zipper on the cover instead of the traditional Velcro like the old Smittybilt tents. So it's got its pros and cons. It's definitely way nicer, putting it on instead of trying to tuck stuff into the zipper. It has these Velcro corners that kind of helps keep, I think, maybe the wind. Another thing that I like about this tent is obviously I'm a big silver gray kind of guy. this tent's gray instead of tan, so that could be a pro or con depending on who you are. Another thing that could be annoying or positive is it has one of those telescoping ladders instead of you know, the ones like we had.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad bringing it down. You just kind of pull this strap.
Oh, okay.
Putting it up is a different story.
Is it worse putting it back up than the old style?
Because you have to get up there to strap it up and everything. Okay. Versus the old one, you know, I just slide it, I'm done.
Yeah.
But everything else is pretty similar. Oops.
Oh wow. I like the color.
Yeah, I do too. This newer tent has it has windows in the canvas, the rainfly.
Oh, like up top.
So the old one, you know, the rainfly, if you ever open those windows, you're just staring at a rainfly.
Yeah.
But with this one, you know, there's actually windows in the canvas. The poles here are bigger and they actually collapse, unlike my old tent, the old XL. It's one solid bar, which got annoying trying to pack it up into the tent and stuff. So yeah, these bars, they're way bigger and thicker than the old single loop that I had before. And these actually clip. And like on my old one, this bar was the only thing that held out this awning, or this whatever you want to call this. So like if it rained or anything, the rain would just pull up on it, and that was always like a fear of mine. You know, I would try to run cable and take the slack out.
Yeah. Now, didn't that fear come true one night? Didn't it actually end up bending or getting damaged or something by rain? Or
we went on a camping trip. We were in a big rainstorm, and all the water pulled up on top. And then it became too much weight for my bar, and the bar folded in half. So I had to modify that old bar to continue using it. This one is nice. It has 3 spots that you can run bars from this outer ring inside the tent to the inner rings. And then that kind of just gives you that support on that top fly, so when it rains, it doesn't pull up there.
Okay.
Another thing is when you put these windows out, the rain fly is attached to them. So when it's out, it makes...
Oh, okay.
So it almost prevents the side of the tent from getting wet at all versus our old tents. Yeah. And it might just be me being somewhat biased, but I feel like the gray keeps it a lot darker inside than the old tan.
It probably does, yeah.
I think it helps keep sun out and stuff.
Yeah. So for those who are thinking of upgrading from either the first gen Smittybilts or a cheap Amazon knockoff, I mean, do you see, is it worth it, or you say roll with what you got and, you know, go from there? What do you think? Is it worth the upgrade?
Well, going from our camping essentials videos that's out on our channel,
go check it out.
To be honest, whatever gets you out there, and then as you fall in love, you put the money in the upgrades where you need it.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like this was a big benefit for us from just going from setting up our old, either the big tent or individual tents. You know, this made it a lot quicker, nicer. Sleeping on a mattress in the winter, you're in a heated room if you have the diesel heaters. You know, the wife and kids like this preferred more than the tent. So
it's a mobile treehouse.
The Amazon rooftop tents also, I mean, you know, Miles has one and it's working good for him. I mean, I think any kind of rooftop tent, honestly, even buying a used one, replace the mattress in it and, you know, whatever you can get.
Well, dude, that is one awesome rig. Thanks for walking us around it. I love this thing. Appreciate the walk around. Anything you want to add?
No, appreciate you asking me the questions and swapping roles with me. It's been a fun build, especially how it's evolved over the years, going from that 93 to this. Just owning a Cherokee.
Well, again, thanks for the walk around. I'm sure some of our 1,000 viewers will have some questions. Hey, did you like this video? If you did, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Every view, every like, every share helps. We're a very small, you know, we're just starting off in the YouTube game, so any of those things help us a lot. We really appreciate you guys watching.
Yep, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys out on the trails. Bye.
Probably. I wish I had a front locker. Moving up top.